The Morrigaine Fusion is the biggest thing happening in Raid Shadow Legends right now. It's launching tomorrow and everybody is excited, if not for the legendary, at least for the epic champion that is about to launch. So yes, I was also excited on the Noob to Pro to finally obtain a good poisoner other than Frozen Banshee, who is kind of, poison sometimes just stands there and takes hit from the clan boss. So I was looking for a better poisoner like Venomage, like Occult Brawler, and now this champion that is part of this fusion, this epic right there will be fused 4 copies right there to get this legendary champion, was looking kind of good, right? Because it seems like a poisoner who had poison and poison sensitivity coming out there at the same time, which is kind of awesome, something that the rare, which we currently rely on, cannot do. His name is Myciliac Priest Orn, and this information that was posted a few days ago about new champions coming into the raid and the new faction that was coming in showed this champion as one of the Sylvian Watchers. Yes, so a good poisoner coming right there for a new faction was awesome. And a lot of people who wanted to go for this fusion saw him as even better. They started comparing him to Morrigain. Like, I'd rather go for a poisoner than go for a champion who is just doing decreased turn meter, increased turn meter, and all that stuff. So a lot of people preferred him for dungeon content and for clan boss content than going for this legendary champion. That's the way it's initially seen right now, right? And before I recorded this video, I was checking out a video from El Hates where he was on the test server, putting regen set on this champion, reflex set on this champion, and running him through dungeon content and doing good stuff. I'm talking about anything that what's his name now, any poisoner could do. AoE poisoner, I'm talking about Eurogrim, right? Eurogrim could solo dungeon 25 to dungeon 24 content also, and Occult Brawler can do it because it's not an AoE poison. But any champion that could do that AoE poison could actually solo it. Even Venomage could solo content like that because that poison just keeps going out and out. And this champion seemed like another one that could also do the same thing, or so it seemed. Right now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this skill right here is the skill I'm talking about. Let me quickly scroll in to this. His I think it's the A3. Yes. Did I scroll past him? The A3 right here. Attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing 5% poison. 5% poison, not just 1 poison, 5% poison. He will also place poison sensitivity also for 2 turns, then heals himself by 20 and by 5% of his max HP. So this champion was built with full high HP, so he was healing a lot also, and 5 max HP for each poison debuff placed. So he was doing like 10% heal from his max HP, right? 10% heal every time you do a skill like this is huge for the poisons you placed. So it was awesome. I really look forward to getting this champion on the Noob to Pro. Well, as you see the title of this video, all that has changed. Well, the fusion has not launched yet. Tomorrow when this champion is launched into the game, you will not see this A3 right here. This A3 has been changed. Even the A1 has been changed. The A1 says attacks one enemy 2 times, right? Each hit has a 30% chance of placing 5% poison. The new changes that are coming up right now, when you see this champion in the game, will say it's a 10% chance, right? Let's see. Let me confirm right there. The new changes right now will be a 15% chance, yes, of placing poison. For it was nerfed from 30% chance of placing poison on an A1 to a 15% chance of placing poison on an A1. Still can be booked up to 25%, so that was good, but it's no longer what it was before. It was cut to half to 15%. That's the A1. For the A3, what was changed about it is that it will no longer have a 75% chance of placing this poison, these 2 poisons. You now have a 50% chance of placing these 2 poisons.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
When you book it up, it will no longer be 100%. It will now be 75% when fully booked. That applies for the poison sensitivity also. It's just a 50% chance. Now, as for the heal, you no longer have a 5% heal per poison placed. You now have a 1% heal per poison placed. If the chance of placing the poison has been reduced from 75 to 50, I don't see why this heal needed to be reduced from 5% to 1%. I don't think that part made any sense, because now you have a 75% chance of landing the poison when fully booked. So the heal should have stayed 5%. That's what I think. Well, that's the new changes that is coming up to this champion that everybody was already excited about, Myciliac Priest Orn. And like I said, I was checking out those videos. I was like, finally, we have another champion who could do solo content, solo dungeon content. But that dream has been cut short. So you still have to rely on your hero grims. You still have to rely on your Urofrost, Frost King. Urost, the Frost King. And you also have to rely on Venomage, maybe to run solo dungeon content for you. For now, sorry, this new Sylvian Watcher champion will not be doing that job at all. All right, I know it's a sad one. What is the community going to do about it? Announcement was made right here about a champion that was coming up. Tests were made in the test server. It was seen that he was performing more than expected, right? Then changes were made before he launched in the game. The good side about all this is that you have not obtained this champion. The good part about this is that you've not spent your books on this champion yet. The good part about this is you have not taken this champion level 60 and then he was nerfed, then you regret it. No. So that's good that these changes were made before it was even launched into the game. But it could have been made before it was posted to the community, like teased a good champion and then you reverse some of his abilities. So the community will still have an uproar over it, I know. But at least we didn't get to the point of using him, spending resources on him, and then regretting it all. That would have been even a bigger issue to the community, and a lot of people will be saying, I quit. It always happens, right? Quit over an epic? Come on, guys. It's just an epic. Relax. You have better champions in Raid who can do it. I'm not excited about this one. The Noob to Pro would have benefited so much from this champion. I'm not excited about it. Like I said, Frozen Banshee is still my only poisoner that I use on that account. And this one would have been better. He would have replaced Frozen Banshee in my team. That's the truth. He would have replaced that instantly. So that's a sad one right there, to see that this change is coming before this champion even saw the daylight in this faction. So will it still be useful in Raid Shadow Legends? That's what a lot of people want to know. Is he still going for the fusion? Is it still worth going for? Do you still need 1 copy of him or 2 copies of him for faction guidance? Will you still go for this champion? 75% poison or poison sensitivity is not a good thing to have in Raid. Even if you have the mastery that adds extra 5%, you make it 80%, right? It's still not a good thing to have in Raid Shadow Legends. Most players don't rely on debuffs that has a 75% chance to land. That's the truth. They rather use a champion that has to land it 100% than use one that has to land it 90, 75%. Just like you wouldn't build a crit rate of 80%, 75%. You always go for that 90, 100% crit rate, right? So that's what I think about this. It will be difficult for most players to use him. Now, if you're new to Raid, you do not have Frozen Banshee, you do not have a Occult Brawler, you don't have any poisoner, you still need to go for this champion and get a copy of him. He might be the best poisoner you have on your team. Well, you will say, what about, why not just go for, what's his name now? Outlaw Monk. Well, unfortunately, those uncommon champions are no longer viable or built in early game content anymore. This will still serve you for the purpose of that AoE against waves, right? AoE on all the enemies. So that's the whole point right there. So Myciliac Priest, I'm sorry you got nerfed before you got the chance to be hyped in Raid as one of the best champions right now. Now you'll be relegated to the vault and used only in faction wars, at least in my main account. That's where this champion will belong to, for this Sylvian Watchers faction. And if I don't have anything better to use for him, that's what I think that is coming right now in Raid. So when this fusion launches tomorrow, let me know in the comments below if you're still going to be going for this epic, or do you now think that the legendary is suddenly better? Because a lot of people we are thinking about skipping out on Morrigain entirely just because of this epic. They wanted to keep a copy of him for their account. But right now that you've seen he has been nerfed to 75% when booked, will you still be going for Morrigain, or would you still get a copy of him? I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's head over to the rare champion who will be used to fuse that epic champion. I also want to take a look at him and touch and see if he's somebody that is worth keeping. Pathfinder Cait. Pathfinder Cait, that's a weird name. Almost look like Outlaw Monk with the scarf covering, but I think it's a lady, right? Yeah, it should be a lady. Sylvian Watchers faction right there, the new faction. On the A1 has a 15% chance of placing block buff debuff for 2 turns. That's a low chance. Booked up to a 35% chance when booked. Rare books, I guess so. A1 block Bob debuff, single target, nah. It should have been AoE then, okay. And the A2 has a 30% chance of increasing the cooldown of a random skill on each target by 2 turns. Whoa. A 30% chance booked to a 50% of increasing the cooldown of a random skill on each target by 2 turns. This is nice. Booked up to a 3-turn cooldown. This is actually nice. I cannot really think about this being a budget version of what do you call this name now? This champion that is used in the arena as a menace to place. Let me show you the copy of the one I have, at least. The new champion I have. Where is it? Right here. Basha. So this looks like a small version of Basha who can also use this skill right there to increase the cooldown of the target skill by 2 turns. But he has it on a 3-turn cooldown and it's a 100% chance. While she has it on a still 3-turn cooldown, but it's a very 50% chance of landing. It's a rare, so it's understandable that you might want to use this in battle to make sure the enemies use only their A1. But it most likely will be for faction wars if you don't have any choice right now to use. I wouldn't use this champion in general content at all, because 50% chance of doing this is kind of risky in PvP or in any general content. So you have better options, I hope. For the passive, this champion places a perfect veil buff on this champion for 1 turn whenever they kill an enemy. Perfect veil passive, okay, to keep her alive, I guess, so she can do this again often in battle. So Sylvian Watcher's new champion, the rare champion, Pathfinder Cait, it's not worth keeping for my main account. It's not worth keeping for the noob to pro. It's gonna be straight food. I might keep a copy for the faction, right? If I don't have any epics to use to fight that faction when it opens up to finally beat that boss. I've beaten the faction all 21. I got my Lydia, but whenever a new faction comes up like this, we still need to get those new resources that it might add to us for beating it. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this one. Morrigain is coming tomorrow. Pathfinder is not looking great, and now Myciliac Priest is also looking skippable. Originally, he was the one that everybody wanted to go for, but due to these changes that came up before it was released into the game, the same thing was applied to. This is not the first time this is happening, right? When a new champion that is coming up looks a little bit too strong, looks a little bit, he's not meant to be doing all that, I guess. So being an Halloween Fusion, this has been a fail. I would say this Halloween Fusion has been a big F, because we didn't get any champion that will say, okay, this is a good champion from Halloween. So I guess this has been categorized with the same way we categorized the Elegaia's Fusion as a fail for that last Halloween that happened also. I would like to hear your thoughts on these changes that came to this champion, if you think it's still usable with 75% chance of landing poisons in raid. Hit that like button, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Noob to Pro update is still coming tonight. Later, guys.